In this second video of Task 1, we will see the creation of the master data. So I am going to return to the start using the green back button 2 or 3 times. And I am going to move to transaction MM01. We are going to create a new product, which is a battery for a bicycle. So we are going to enter the name that was provided to us. There is one thing we must keep in mind, that in the reading of the task that was provided to us, on many occasions we have some data inside a table, but there is other data that is in the reading or in the prompt. So we must keep both of those datas in mind, because if we miss a piece of data, we could be losing points on the exam, and that is not ideal. So I am going to enter my material number, always replacing the hash marks with the group code that was assigned. Here, I must keep in mind that my product type is ROH. Pressing R takes me directly there. And here, as usual, well, if it is a product that is manufactured, I will select mechanical engineering as the industry sector, which is M. I am going to press Enter. Once here, I must select the basic views to be able to purchase a product, which would be Basic Data 1, Purchasing, scroll down, Plant Data/Storage 1, and Accounting 1. I am going to click the check mark. And here, in this case, they tell me that I must create this material for my plant and for this storage location. So I am going to enter the data Y99, the storage location 101C. I am going to click Continue, and here I must enter a description. Since we are already in English, the system will take by default that we have the material in English. So I am going to take here the code for battery GR hash. I am going to change the group indicator. I am going to enter, in this case, PC as the unit of measure. Even though they don't provide it to me here, it is a unit of measure seen in all the exercises. We almost never change that unit. In all the certification exercises, we are going to enter or indicate the material number, the material group, and after that, the division, which are the data provided to us here. To enter the description language, add the German or Deutsch language, we are going to press the additional data button, and we're going to add the DE entry. It doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase. And we are going to copy and enter here what I am going to put here, the 99. To return to the main screen, I am going to click on Main Data, and I am going to position myself here by clicking here on the description, and I am going to press Enter. It will automatically move to the Purchasing tab, so I am going to fill in the 2 purchasing fields that I am instructed to. Enter the purchasing group number, which is Z99, indicated in this part here, and the code for the purchasing values, in this case, the value of 1.
If I press Enter, a warning message in yellow will appear, telling me to check that my data is correct. So I will now press Enter. That data is correct. I am going to press Enter again. And here we move to the Storage Data tab. I am going to enter the storage bin that must store this material. And for this view, that would be all. Finally, I am going to press Enter, and I am going to go to the Accounting 1 tab. Here, the only value provided to me is the valuation class, which I have here, which would be 3,000 for raw materials.
And in the price area, I must keep in mind one thing. Although they don't provide the price here, there is an exercise a bit further ahead, which is to create an info record. Here I have, in this case, that the price of a single battery is $500. So I am going to leave automatically the price control set to moving average, and I will.
Press. I will indicate here that my battery value is 500. I am going to press Enter again, since those are the two pieces of data I need. I get the status message saying that the currency has been converted, and I am going to press Enter again. Here it asks me if I want to exit. Obviously, I have already finished entering my data, so I am going to say yes. Now my battery is created. We are going to move to the next master data of this task, which is to create a vendor. So I am going to go to Transaction BP, and I am going to select the Organization button. Here, the first thing we must keep in mind is that the BP account group must be BPAB, so I am going to select it. I am going to select it from the drop-down list. BABAC. I have it here. And I must enter the BP code. In this case, it's SP hash. I am going to enter the hash. I am going to change the hashes as usual. And here, even though the prompt doesn't give me the BP name, I am going to use the same code I have. I am not going to. Start inventing new names. I must enter it here in the search terms. After that, a street name provided here, the house number, the postal code. The city, in this case it is NZLOS, the region code, which tells me it is 08, and the country, in this case Germany, as usual. Once these details are entered, there is another piece of data I must keep in mind, which is the communication language of the business partner. In this case, they provide as here with the communication value, right? It is in German, so I scroll down a bit, and in the communication language, I look for German and select it, indicate it. Once these details are filled in, I can save the business partner role. After that, they tell me, basically to create a business partner, I must have 3 roles, or for a vendor, I must have 3 roles: the business partner role, the financial accounting vendor role, and the purchasing vendor role. For this, we are going to press the switch button from display to change, and I'm going to look for the financial accounting vendor role, since I already created it. First role, which usually contains the address. Here I have the role FLVN vendor. In this case, the company code button becomes active. I will select it and indicate which company code I have here. Which company code? 1010. I'm going to press Enter. The reconciliation account code field becomes active, so I am going to copy the reconciliation account code here, and that's it. In this case, I have no more data to fill in here, so I will press Enter and save the finance role. After that, I am going to create the purchasing vendor role. So I move to the role FLVN01 supplier. And here the purchasing button becomes active. I select it and I am going to specify the purchasing organization. Well, which purchasing organization? I have it here. The purchasing organization must be the one I currently created, which is P099. I am going to press Enter to confirm the data, and I am going to fill in the data I have for it. In this case, the currency. I have it down here. The currency is the euro. The payment terms are 0010. The Incoterms version. In this case, I don't have a version, but rather the Incoterms. The Incoterms type is FHA. I'm going to scroll down a bit more. And here is a very important part. It tells me that GR-based invoice verification must be checked, so I'm going to select this checkbox in the control data. Area. I am going to scroll down a bit more. I am going to enter in this case here what I have, which indicates that the planned delivery time for this vendor is 15 days. So in the default data values for materials, I have here that it will be 15 days. I am going to enter 15 days. And here, currently, I must also enter the purchasing group number, Z99, and all the data for our vendor. Would be created. No further data needs to be entered. Let's save it, and with this, we would have step 4 of task 1. Let's continue. We are going to enter the transaction to create purchasing info records, so I am going to move to transaction ME11. Here, by default, the material, the purchasing organization, and the plant we created appear. In this case, we are going to remove the plant, because in the exercise described to us, it tells that we must create the info record at the purchasing organization level, not at the plant level. Okay, so we are going to enter the vendor we just created, in this case, SPC99, and we are going to press Enter. It is important to verify that the info record type is standard. Here, these details appear. I am going to click on the Purchasing Organization Data 1 button. And here we are going to enter some values that are specified here. For example, the vendor indicated that the material is shipped in 10 days, and we also have that. The standard delivery quantity is 100 pieces, so we are going to enter the standard quantity of 100 pieces, the standard delivery, and we are going to change the 15 days that appear in the vendor. Master record to 10 days in the info record. Net price of a battery, we have it here, which is 500 euros. We are going to enter it. Once this part of having entered these details is created, we are going to click on the Conditions button, and under Conditions, we are going to select the PB00 condition, and in this case, we are going to create some scales for it. Having pressed the Scales button, here we have that for a quantity of one of our product, we will have 500 euros. Next, it tells us that for 10 pieces, the customer will pay 450 euros for each. Piece. At this point, we are going to save the material. No, the info record. Once the info record is created, we are going to move to transaction ME12 to change our info record. I am going to go to the Info Record menu and click Change. Here, once changed, we are going to enter, and I am going to go back to the conditions. And in this case, I have the previous record, so I am going to press the New with Reference. Button. Here, in this case, it tells me that for the following year, they want to pay, right? Or 520 euros will be paid for each battery, and for the continuation of the scales. So I am going to select my condition and go back to the scales. In this case, I am going to change the validity to the start of next year. In this case, 01/01/2027 for the date of this course. And here I am going to increase the value of one piece to 520 euros, and then the value of another piece from 10 pieces to 470 euros for each piece if more than 10 pieces are purchased. I am going to press Enter, and at this point, I am going to save. Here, the second part, or second video, has been created.